Mamma mia! Mama Princess built me a cake. Build me a cake like a castle on a sand castle, like a snowman on the sand. No, snowman on the snow. She baking me a cake. Better go to the castle. So I go to the castle, but then I find out there's no princess. And then I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I see like an invisible see-through mushroom. And I'm like, mushroom, what's it up, mushroom? Why are you doing this? The mushroom's like, hey, this is not my problem. I'm just like a little boy who's like a unisex creature, like not a girl, not a boy. I'm like a mushroom. And there's a bunch of me's. And I can give you a one-up. Unless if you can talk to me and then you can actually eat me and become bigger. Did I say a one-up? That would be more like a different color mushroom. Yeah, I'm not that color. But you need to jump into these mirrors, into these pictures, and get all the stars, or you can beat Bowser and then beat Bowser again. And spoiler alert, yeah, you have to beat Bowser 3 times. And you can take some shortcuts if you jump in a certain place in the stairways. And you can jump really high if you jump 3 times in a row. Mario, don't take life so serious. But I want some lasagna, I want some spaghetti, and I want to hang out with my girlfriend. She's not really your girlfriend. How do you know? I've been cussing her since 1980. And sometimes I'm in the mafia. I'm a really big fan of Super Mario Brothers 64. Mario 64. That came out on the Nintendo 64. That's a video game console system where you play video games on. That the Nintendo came out with. Nintendo is a video game company that makes video game systems and video games, and they make a lot of different things, and the company Nintendo started in the 1800s. They were making like cards. Then they started making electronic things like video games in like 1980s. Or I don't know if they were doing anything before the 1980s besides making just cards for the past like 100 years. They started like in Japan, but they made the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, that came out in America like in 1985, the year I was born, and then the Super NES, the Super Entertainment System, that came out, the Super Nintendo, that came out like 1990 or 1991 or so. Then they had like, or they also had like Game Boys. Game Boy, like a portable, like it's almost like an iPod. It's almost like an iPad, except you can play video games on it. Before they had iPods and iPads, they had Game Boys. And then in 1996, when I was turning 11 years old, and while I was like making a Power Ranger movie, when we first got a camcorder, and I started really wanting to make movies around that time. They came out with the Nintendo 64 and the Mario 64, and eventually maybe that year or the next year we were able to get a Nintendo 64 with the Mario 64. My father was able to buy it for like $199.99, basically 200 American dollars. And I was really really excited, almost as excited as I was when I got SimCity for the Super Nintendo. The thing about Mario 64 that I really like is that it's like an adventure, and it was like the first 3D game that I ever played, and the graphics were better than anything I've ever seen before. And it's like the first time I get to see Mario in 3D, where I can just like look at him, look at the back of him, and I can look around. Look around the map, look around the world, the different east level that I'm in. I can look around and like you can race Koopa. Like there's the Koopa character. Uh, like he's bigger than the other ones, and he talks to you, and you race him up a hill, and the different bosses and the different levels are kind of nice. And usually, what you do is like you grab them and throw them, or you hit a you hit a band-aid on the side of them. Like there's one guy, he's like a brick man, he's like a stone man. You just like pound him on the side of his body, or you pick the boss up and you throw them on the ground. That's what you do with Bowser. You pick him up and you throw him towards a bomb 3 times, and he dies. You get coins, you complete tasks, you find stars. Finding all the different stars was one of the most exciting things that I liked when I was playing the game, and it may have took a year or less than a year to get all the stars, and I got almost all the stars, maybe like 118, 120, but then I couldn't find all the stars, and so I went and I read a book at Fred Meyer's that has the secrets and tells you, secrets and codes and stuff from video games, and so I read it and it told me where the other stars were. I think that's what happened. So I didn't find all the stars by myself, but I almost did. So I think there's only 128 stars. But then, like, you can look through walls in the castle, and there's a part where I look through the wall and I see this cloud. Like, you go on the second floor, which in Vietnam that would be the first floor, because they call the first floor the ground floor, and they call the second floor the first floor. You go on the second floor, and you go on the staircase, the stairways, and right before you go all the way up, like near the door, you use the looking eyes to look through the wall, and you see this cloud. Then you go other places too in the castle, and you can see the cloud too. And the cloud is out there, but you wonder, what does the cloud represent? Is that a secret level? If you get all the stars, you can go on top of the castle and talk to Yoshi, and Yoshi gives you 100 lives. But you can't hop on Yoshi. There are like computer emulations, or like ways to hack into the game, or make an emulation of Mario 64, and make it so that like you play with Luigi, or make it so that you can like play with Yoshi maybe, or I don't know, you can actually play with Yoshi, but really wish we could. But like when you play Mario Smash Brothers, like you get to play as Yoshi, but I don't know if in other games they let you like play like Mario, like 3D Mario, and where you get to hop on Yoshi and do things. I don't know if they. I don't remember seeing that. I've only seen it where you hop on Yoshi in Mario World for the Super Nintendo. So if they have not done that yet, they need to do that. So Nintendo, please make like Mario Galaxy 3, Mario Galaxy 4, where you can hop on Yoshi, or maybe you can hop on Yoshi in Mario Galaxy. I don't remember. But I'm here to tell you that Mario 64 is really exciting because you get to be Mario and you get to hop up and down and solve problems and get stars. And every time you get a star, it's very exciting. And after I was able to beat the game, get all the stars, or most of the stars, beat Bowser 3 times, save the princess, then I went back. I started going back. And one time I was able to, start from the beginning and beat the whole entire Mario 64 game in about 8 hours. Because, you know where all the stars are, and you know exactly what to do, so you do it as fast as possible. Actually, I didn't get all the stars. If you get all the stars, it takes longer than 8 hours, unless if you're really good. For me, it takes 8 hours just to do everything that you have to do in order to beat Bowser 3 times, and the third time you beat him, you get to see the credits, and maybe like Princess Toadstool kisses you and bakes you a cake, and you almost faint because you're Mario. Mamma mia, I wanna be Mario forever. Be more parody movies, and they should actually make another live action film Mario that's a little better, because the first one they made in like 1993 or so, like, it's interesting, it's unique, but not a lot of people like it, or some people don't like it, and it doesn't really look like the video game. It's a lot different and darker or weird or something. So they should definitely make a new one. Kind of like they're making a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film that's supposed to come out in 2014, but that one is a little different than the other three live action turtle films that came out in 1990, like 1991, 1993. Those films I really like. Like I was watching a second of it the other day, like a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago, and I was laughing because it's still funny. The original live action turtle films, they're interesting, but like you hear about the new one, the new Turtles movie, a reboot that's coming out like 2014, and they say those turtles are aliens, and I don't know what I think about that. Sometimes it's okay, like when you go back and you change the story and you do a reboot or you turn a video game into a movie or something, you change things, and it's okay. But other times, like it's not okay, and sometimes the fans get really picky. If you turn a book into a movie, like Lord of the Rings, sometimes they can get really picky and they say, well, in the book this happened, but in the movie this happened. Sometimes, usually, I don't really care, and I say, the movie can't be like the book exactly. It's a movie. Unless if you can make like a bunch of movies or make a TV show series and have enough time to talk about everything that the books talk about, and at the same time you can't totally satisfy everything and everybody, because like movies and books are different. So like of course, like when you read a book, you're gonna feel certain things and with the different words, and that's all you do in a book. You read words, and when you watch a movie, of course it's going to be different because you're not reading anymore. So the process is different because you're listening and seeing things. And those bookworms, those readers need to realize the difference and how it can't totally be the same. Because if it was the same, they wouldn't actually go through the hassle of making a movie to begin with if the movie was supposed to be exactly like the book anyway. And Mario 64 is not exactly like the 2D Mario, but that's fine. But then later on, they go on and they make video games with Mario that's 2D, and I really do like 2D. But one of my favorite 3D Marios is the first one that they ever made, Mario 64. I really like a lot of the 2D Marios, including Paper Mario, the different Paper Mario games. I think I like them all equally, or maybe I like the newer Paper Mario games better. Like, I played Paper Mario 64. I really like that. But then I played the Paper Mario for the GameCube, the 1,000 Year Door, I think. And I think I like that better. And I don't think I played the Paper Mario for the Wii yet, and I should. Maybe I need to get an emulator and illegally download it on my computer so I can play it, or something. So I really do want to play Paper Mario. And then they have other games like the first game I played that was like Paper Mario was the Mario RPG. RPG stands for role playing game. And it's kind of like Paper Mario, except there's other characters that you can play. You can even play as Bowser. Spoiler alert, you can play as Bowser in Mario RPG, the Legend of the Seven Stars. And that came out around 95 or so, but it's like, that may have been the first time they had stars, where they talk about collecting stars in the Mario RPG, and then they came out with the Mario 64 like the next year, and then you collect 128 stars in that game. But then, you do have stars in the original Mario Brothers for the regular Nintendo, where you hit a block and a star comes out, and you get on fire when you touch it. becomes a part of you, and you're like invincible, and you can kill all the bad guys. You can just like run through all the bad guys. They had that kind of star, but not the kind of star that you collect so that you can like beat the game kind of thing. They just had the other kind of star that lets you kill people with, kill bad guys with, kind of thing. It's really exciting. Another thing that I really like about Mario 64 is that you get different camps, and that's like the only game that they did the caps, and the only game that they did the pictures where you jump into the pictures to go to different levels. The different caps are really exciting. Like sometimes, like in like the sand level, like there's like the wind or something, and like it blows Mario's hat off, his cap off, and then you have to go find it. And that's really creative. The fact that his hat can come off, that's like, you know, I hope so, because hats aren't like glued to your head. Is your hat glued to your head, Mario? You know, I mean, I'm not gonna try to judge you too much if your hat's glued to your head, but then he's able to find other hats, and they can turn him into a metal Mario, or turn into like gives him wings where he can fly, where the wings are like on his head or on his back. I can't remember where the wings were, either on his back or on his hat. And then there's probably a couple others too, like an invisible one, where he goes and he's invisible thing. Or is that maybe that's just the metal one, where he turns into metal Mario. And I can't remember exactly what was unique about Metal Mario. Maybe just the fact that nothing can hurt it, I guess. And then there's other caps that turn Mario into other things, but they didn't really have like a raccoon, and you know, for Mario 3, for the regular Nintendo, where Mario turns into a raccoon, and the raccoon is able to turn into a frozen statue. And so they have different things they didn't really have from previous Mario games. They didn't put that in Mario 64, which is okay, I guess. Maybe you blame it on the bits and say there wasn't enough bits. There's only 64 bits, and most of it's spent on the 3D-ness of the game. So I guess okay, maybe, but or maybe they made the game too fast, but like I don't know. I mean, I just think that you know they have these other caps they could have had, like fireballs, or turn into a star and be invincible and just kill characters by running into them, like a fireball, like a star on fire, and others. But they didn't really have that, and they didn't really have like the ability to play like two players, or the ability to hop on Yoshi, or the ability to play as Peach, Princess Toadstool, like you do in Paper Mario. You can play as her because you know you don't want to just play one character. I mean, as much as you can like Mario, you want to do more things, more unique, interesting things. But they didn't really have that. But that's okay. Mario 64 is still interesting to play. Maybe it's really interesting to play the first time you play it. So if you never played it before, you should play it. But once you've played it, then maybe you won't really want to play it again, unless if there's some things you want to do for fun, like you can hop on a turtle shell and like go surfing, and then you get to test your skills basically of like making sure that it doesn't break, that the turtle shell doesn't break, that you continue to surf and knock down bad guys, Goombas, and surf around and make sure that you don't run into a wall or anything that can hurt your surfing. And that's kind of exciting, you're like, let's see how long I can do this. You can do that in a couple different levels that they have turtle shells. Turtles. You kind of hit the turtle, you kill the turtle creature, but then the shell is there, and you can just hop on it. And the game, Mario 64 has a couple, the different levels are interesting, and whether it be like swimming or running or surfing or the different tasks and puzzles you have to do, or when you're looking for the different stars. So every level is unique, and that's what makes the game interesting to play. Because when you're playing it, it's like you're in this level and you're doing these things, and you're learning and you're seeing these things for the first time. Like if it was your first time seeing a 3D game, it would wow you, and you'd be like, oh wow, this is interesting. And you get the stars and you do the things that you need to do, and then you hop out of that picture and you go to the next level. Or you can go back and forth between levels and get a couple stars and then get a couple stars in another level and then hop back to the other level and get a couple stars and go back and forth. But you go to another level and you see like different things, like a different world, and it's a lot different than the other painting level, other Pixar. And you get to do like different things and different tasks and different challenges and learn different things all over again and start from square one. Start from square one, and it's really interesting. And then you go to the next level, and every level is really unique. Basically, there's about 15 levels in Mario 64. Not counting the boss levels where you go after Bowser. There's about 3 of those, and so maybe that's 18. And then there may be a few secret levels. So it's around 20. Probably not more than 20 different levels, not counting the castle itself, which you start out and you're on the outside of the castle, the good castle that Princess Toadstool, Peach lives in. Which is strange because this is like the only game, or the first game, this has happened, where Bowser does not take her away like he does in all the other games before, where he runs off with the princess. In this game, he hides the princess in the walls of the castle. And I'm not exactly sure why he did that, or what he's trying to do. Why is he still hanging out at the castle, where Mario knows where he is? Why can't Bowser just like run away and never be found again, leave no trace? Maybe because Bowser, King Koopa, that big turtle guy who's not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, maybe Bowser wants Mario to follow him because Bowser is gay and likes to contact with other men. Or maybe because like he really likes to confront Mario because he hates his guts and he just wants to beat everything out of Mario. What do you think? What is your favorite Mario games? What are your not so favorite Mario games? What do you think? What do you think? What do you really think about Mario 64? What do you like and do not like about Mario 64? Leave your comments below. You know you can. It's not as hard as beating the game. All you have to do is use your hands to type and enter. And sometimes enter the CAPTCHA text because like sometimes YouTube thinks you're a robot, so you have to like prove it by entering the phrase or the code, these numbers and letters. You type in whatever it says in the picture, click enter, and then it knows you're not a robot. Unless if the robot can do it, which eventually I'm sure robots will, computer programs will learn how to do it. And maybe some of them already do know how to do it, so I guess it's a waste of time to enter it because it's like it's not going to stop all the robots. But it probably stops most of the robots. And Mario always stops Bowser every time. But why? Like, why does Bowser keep on coming back for more? What do you think? Does Bowser have a problem? Does he have ADD? Does he have is he mentally challenged? Through the mutation, because he was probably mutated by the secret of the ooze, the same thing that made the turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bigger, so they can talk and eat pizza and fight crime like a ninja. The same thing that made the turtles bigger may have made Bowser bigger. You think about Mario, it's like it's a really unique game. I've heard other people talk about this and how Mario paved the way for other games to be more crazy. And maybe Mario is the kind of game that was made by somebody who was high. You know, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, let's make a game about a guy and he's walking around and he's looking at his plumbing because he's a plumber, and then he looks inside the pipe and he sees a big turtle. The turtle goes, and then it's like a piranha plant comes out and it's like, whoa, whoa. It's like, you know, whoa. It's like, wow, are you high? I'm high. Can we make a game about this? Okay, we will make a game about this. And then everybody's like, wow, I feel like I'm high. I really like this. Because it's like, it's almost illegal because it's illegal to get high, to take marijuana, to take certain drugs. It's illegal. Well, when I play this game, I feel like I'm high because it's like, oh my goodness, like, oh look, it's got that. Oh my goodness, wow. Like, I'm tripping on acid. What do you think about that? What do you think about Mario games? Is it crazy? Is it too crazy? Is it just everything you need and you really love it? What do you like and dislike about the Mario games, the different things like the flowers and the stars and the teddy bears and raccoon suit and the frog suit and Bowser and how Bowser keeps on coming back for more but he never wins and he's always capturing the princess. Just like people try to capture Zelda and Link tries to save the day. Kind of like how Princess Leia in Star Wars gets captured by Darth Vader, who's also his father, her father. What do you think about Mario games? What do you like and do not like about it? Should they try to make a new Mario movie? Tell me your thoughts before you lose track of them.